So kart racing games have long been a staple party titles to play alongside friends and family, and I recently put together a top Mario Kart's alternative video which I've released alongside this one, covering off some of the more mature titles in the genre. But in this list I'm going to be focusing on those titles geared more towards a younger audience, featuring simplified gameplay mechanics, and which perhaps as a parent you can play alongside your little ones. So without further ado, drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more Nintendo Switch content, and let's dive into 14 kids kart racing games on the Nintendo Switch. So I'll start by saying that quite a few of the titles in this list are themed around well-known kids franchises, which, not having young children of my own, I know very little about, so please forgive my ignorance. But first up we actually have one that I have heard of, that being PAW Patrol. And when it comes to young kids games on the Switch, publisher Outright Games puts out some of the best licensed titles on the market, with properties such as Peppa Pig, Justice League, and of course this one. Now, PAW Patrol Grand Prix sees Ryder, Chase, Marshall and 7 other series favourites taken to 11 iconic locations including Adventure Bay and Jake's Snowboarding Resort for some fun-filled battle racing action. And no, I've never watched the series in my life, I'm just reading from the game's features. But the game has plenty of power-ups on offer, with characters also coming with their own unique special abilities. It supports offline split screen for up to 4 players, has an easy control option for younger players to assist them as they race around the tracks, and all in all it definitely looks like a solid Mario Kart alternative for those with younger kids who are fans of the series. Race with Ryan is our next title, also coming to us from Outright Games and based around the Ryan's World franchise. And this is one that I'm less familiar with, but it looks to offer more of a my first Mario Kart experience and an introduction to kart racing in general. The game though sees Ryan's imagination running wild as his world comes to life and takes to the tracks with him some chaotic karting, and amongst its roster you'll find Gus the Gator, Pirate Panda, plus many more to unlock as you work your way through the single player career mode. The game also supports 2 to 4 player split screen with a total of 6 different tracks to race on, so the standard version is a little limited. But if you're willing to cough up a little bit more cash, there's also a Road Trip Deluxe Edition which includes new USA themed drivers and 4 additional circuits for you to race on. Next up we have the Beach Buggy Racing series of games, of which there are 2 on the Switch, each of which are focused around off-road racing in vehicles such as dune buggies and monster trucks, and like our previous title, each of the game's characters comes with its own special ability. When it comes to weapon pickups, the games have an impressive amount of them, with weapons strewn throughout the courses to give you the upper hand, with the first game having a whopping 40 for you to choose from, while the second reels things in a bit to a mere 25. And track-wise, the first Beach Buggy Racing has 15 to choose from, while the sequel contains 22, with game modes including multi-event championships, a single-player career mode, or in the case of the second game, a multiplayer story-driven adventure mode, as well as plenty of competitive multiplayer modes, with both games featuring 4-player split screen. All in all, great budget options with a surprising level of content to them. Gigantosaurus Dino Kart is our next title, which, as you've probably guessed, is a prehistoric themed kart racer in which you get to race as your favourite dinosaurs and tear through a land before time in wacky racers looking vehicles, and by God I'm showing my age now. But the game itself is definitely one of the more accessible races in our roundup, featuring slower race speeds and options for auto steering karts and on-screen text read aloud by the game's narrator. Amongst its 15 tracks you'll find a variety of environmental hazards to keep things interesting and the usual assortment of power-ups to gain the upper hand with, and the game can be played in split-screen multiplayer mode for up to 4 players. A decent little racer this one, especially for people with younger kids. Now unfortunately, not all of the races in our list today are going to be worth their asking price, and our next title, Renzo Racer, is a game which boasts a huge cast of 16 comical personalities, 20 different tracks to choose from, with races taking part on both land and in the water, and features plenty of hazards and destructible objects for you to play through. Unfortunately, going by a Nintendo Life review published in 2021, the game itself is apparently not much cop, with the karts themselves feeling sluggishly slow and having terrible turning circles, as well as having some very unforgiving physics which see you frequently having to reset your car with the aid of a dedicated respawn button. The reviewer also criticised the appearance of the game's characters, even going so far as comparing them to Five Nights at Freddy's characters, which really isn't something that you want to hear from a game aimed at kids. So all in all, apparently not a great racer here, but it might be worth a look at if you manage to snag it on a deep sale. Now our old friend Garfield the cat also has his very own kart racer entitled Garfield Kart Furious Racing, which, similar to our last title, according to reviews has far too many game-breaking bugs to make it worth your while. Features wise though, alongside Garfield you'll find familiar faces such as would-be owner John and Oddie the dog, as they take to the streets for some battle racing action amongst 16 circuits inspired by environments from the world of Garfield. And like all great kart racers, the game features some simple drifting mechanics, a selection of offensive and defensive items for you to utilise, and local co-op play for 1 to 2 players or online play for up to 8. Once again though, the game suffers from some incredibly poor steering mechanics, and while you do have multiple racing speeds to choose from, at higher speeds, apparently the broken physics once again rear their ugly head and the game becomes practically unplayable. So unfortunately, another one to avoid it seems, unless you can pick it up at a highly discounted price. So heading into the real budget looking end of the spectrum now then, we have Moorhuhn Kart Racer 2, sequel to a game which originally released on mobile and Steam but didn't see the light of day on Switch, from a franchise which is apparently well known in Germany. A pretty standard kart racer this one though it seems. Moorhuhn Kart 2 features Moorhuhn the chicken and 7 other characters, including a frog, a snowman and a mole, 10 different power-ups to snag and a total of 8 different racetracks to choose from, all of which can be played in either offline single player, 4-player local split screen or 7-player online multiplayer. And it definitely looks to be a low budget offering despite its rather high $20 asking price, but again if you can grab it when it's on sale, it might be worth giving a go. Our next title has a bit of an odd theme for a kart racer, and I didn't even know that emojis were trademarked, but Emoji Kart Racer is apparently the first official emoji video game, allowing you to get behind the wheel in either single or 2-player split screen modes and battle it out as your own personalised emoji, which you create using the Emoji TM generator. The game features 16 tracks, 10 different vehicles and emoji themed power-ups such as poops and rockets, but going by player reviews, this one is a pretty run-of-the-mill kart racer with very little in the way of content. At $25 though, there are definitely much better options out there if you're looking for a decent kart racer, so this bare bones offering might be worth avoiding. So a couple more cutesy ones up for you next, the first being Animal Drifter, an animal themed kart racer featuring a cuddly cast of furry friends, and going by the gameplay footage, this one actually looks like a lot of fun, with some very unique power-ups on offer and some slow but solid racing. Rather unfortunately though, the game can only be played solo, so no offline or online multiplayer on offer, but the gameplay has you completing different objectives whilst attempting to beat your competitors to the finish line, and it's a super budget offering which regularly goes on sale for $1. So if you've got a kid that you want to keep quiet for a while, it might just be worth the investment. Now our next game, Hello Kitty Kruisers, is of course based around the famous Japanese Moggy, but it also features several other characters from the Sanrio franchise, including the ever cute Pom Pom Purin and Kuropi the Frog. Hello Kitty Kruisers was initially released on the Wii and is pretty much your standard kart racer setup, with 16 different tracks to select from, taking place on both land, sea and in the air, as well as a bunch of different power-ups, and game modes which include a 20 mission adventure mode and 4-player split screen mode. Unfortunately, the more mature Hello Kitty fanbase, and yes they do exist, probably won't find much to enjoy with this one, as the gameplay itself is incredibly slow and is really aimed towards very young children, so if you are above the age of 7, I suggest just sticking with Mario Kart. Now, given the theme and popularity of Disney's and Pixar's car franchise, it was inevitable at some point or other that would see a kart racer based around it, and Cars 3 Driven to Win is exactly that, a battle racer featuring over 20 memorable Cars characters, each of which can be customised and come with their own unique abilities, and 20 tracks set in iconic locations from the movies. The game features 6 modes in total, with standard race and battle modes included, alongside a sandbox mode and boss races allowing you to unlock new characters. But the most unique feature of this one has to be stunt mechanics, which allow you to perform wheelies and air tricks to accumulate turbo bars and gain speed boosts. The game also supports up to 4 players locally, with you able to play solo or alternatively team up together for a bit of 2-on-2 action. And all in all, it's not a bad little kart racer this one, and one which fans of the movies should thoroughly enjoy. Our penultimate game today then is another one featuring our furry friends, as Meow Motors has you touring around tracks as one of 10 unique kitties, each with their own abilities and 10 different power-ups which can be charged to deliver more powerful effects, including freeze guns, shockwaves and speed boosts, all of which can give you an advantage in races. Alongside 20 different tracks, there are 3 different game modes which offer some variety to gameplay, including a standard race mode, a battle-oriented strike mode and a points-based drift mode, and overall it seems like a decent little racer. The main downsides with this one though are that it only supports local split screen for 1 to 2 players, and like the website, the in-game text has been poorly translated, which might result in a little bit of confusion. So our final game today is Blaze and the Monster Machines Axle City Racers, a rather lengthy title from a series which I'm unfamiliar with, but one which looks to take influence from Cars with its anthropomorphic vehicles and stunt-infused gameplay. With 7 different vehicles to choose from, including Blaze the Monster Truck and Sidekick Pickle, the game has you racing through Axle City, the Monster Dome and more as you boost, drift, jump and stunt your way to glory. And again, similar to Cars 3, the game features power-ups, upgrades and unique character abilities, can be played in 4-player split screen mode, and it also has an auto drive feature to help out younger players. While it may be lacking in variety when it comes to game modes, with straightforward racing being the only thing on offer, if you got kids who are fans of the series, it might still be one worth picking up. And that, my friends, just about does it for this bumper list of kids karting games, so let me know down in the comments below if you found it helpful and which, if any of the games featured, you're considering picking up. As I said before, be sure to check out my top karting alternatives video for more recommendations, and also check out my top lists playlists for roundups of the best family friendly and co-op games, beat 'em ups, retro FPS games and more. But until next time, drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more Nintendo Switch content, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.